Come on.
If we have, I always, my individualism starts going off when I hear a lot of big talk about men and women and what they need and what they don't. But I think a big part of it right now is that men just don't work as much as they used to, especially young men, right? Teenagers 20 years ago, more than half of them, 16 and over, worked. Now it's 1/3. That's a big drop off in 20 years. And every one of the generations afterwards works less as a cohort than they did up until, this is good news for you guys, 55. 55 and older, more share of men work than they did 20 years ago. That's weird. If we're like losing the idea that getting a work ethic, figuring out how to, wake up hungover and show up to work on time, to get the independence of having a hostile third party pay you money to do indifferent work, that's important. And we're not doing that anymore. And that's I think is worse for masculinity than playing fantasy.
But you're talking about the symptom. We're trying to get at the root cause. Why are men in such crisis? I mean, the stats are like only 40% go to college, so they're losing out to women there in a big way. And women with degrees don't marry men who don't have degrees. So. Great, you'll be lonely forever, aren't you? Why are you cheering that?
I didn't tell my wife.
They don't marry as much, which I think is great, but other people think that's a terrible thing. Okay, people do like a mate, whatever. That's whatever your boat floats by. But there is something going on. I mean, mass shootings is a uniquely male crime. It's always because some dude in Buffalo, had somebody swiping left on him too much. I feel like that's what's going on here. Is a lot of sort of maleness coming to the fore and announcing itself in violence and racism and hatred because they're lonely and lost and feel that they are not useful in society. How did we get there?
The most unstable nations in the world have one thing in common, and that is they have too many lonely, broke, and alone men. It's the most dangerous person in the world. Salman Rushdie wasn't attacked because of the fatwa. He was attacked because a guy was living in his mother's basement. We have a crisis among young men, and it starts at a young age. Young men are twice as likely on a behavior-adjusted basis to be suspended. 7 in 10 high school valedictorians are women. For every two female graduates from college in the next 5 years, you only have one. The scariest stat, walking down the avenue that is America, only 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 have had sex in the last year. You hear sex and your brain fires, but the bottom line is, it's a key step to the elemental foundation of any society, and that is relationships. Young men aren't attaching to work, they aren't attaching to women, they aren't attaching to schools. We are producing too many of the most dangerous person in society, and we are losing out on a key. We're not going to have kids, we're not going to have a productive society, we're going to have more violence, and also we're going to have a society that does not value young men, and they do not. Young men are different, they develop later. And by the way, if you're a young man, this work from home thing is a disaster. They need, young men need guardrails. They need to know how to read a room, they need to put on a clean shirt, they know not to get high or drink too much during the week, and then get into the office the next day. We have a crisis among young men. It is one of the most, in my view, one of the most dangerous things in our society.
And where do you put the phone in this equation? Because I put it high up. Because, thank you. Because I was reading recently, Tinder, 2-to-1 male to female.
Oh.
What?
No, it's just a startling statistic, yeah.
Right. Well, why is it startling? I mean, it sounds like a great idea. Oh, I can just order women like I do a pizza on my phone. I think I'll have the Kelly today. Except when you go on it, it weeds out the people who aren't the best looking, I think, because, it used to be go to a bar, okay, maybe it was potluck, but you have to be able to learn to talk to a woman. I don't think they how to talk to a woman anymore, because it's just on the phone. It's just like, what's up? What's up, and send a picture of your penis. Like, that's going to work.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You asked about about the phone. Simply put, it's a disaster. Whenever technology comes into an industry, it consolidates it. Mating has been consolidated in the worst way. 50 men on Tinder, 50 women. 46 of the women show all of their attention to just 4 men, leaving 46 men pursuing just 4 women. If mating was a country, it would be more unequal than Venezuela. We have huge mating inequality. And here's the problem. When people don't get together and there's no pheromones and there's no vibe, women, and we don't like to say this on the left, primarily try and make very quick assumptions about this individual's ability to garner resources in the future. So what you have is this concentration of interest, and you're ending up with Porsche polygamy, where 10% of the men get 90% of the attention, which does not lead to good behavior or form long-term relationships. E-commerce was disastrous for retail. Social media was disastrous for everybody. Online dating is disastrous for mating and for men. It's terrible.